All right, Chief Olisame, to you.
Well, actually, we had refrained from making comments on this, but there are a few things that we need to correct. First, on the issue of 100 days. It will not suit the ruling party now to have double standards on the issue of 100 days. When they're in opposition, they can make all sorts of noise about 100 days. And when they're in power, they will tell us 100 days is not important. That is insincerity. And that is not very good for democracy in this country. I remember that September 11, 2011, the then spokesperson for the ACN, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, issued a statement assessing the 100 days of President Jonathan in office. And he made a lot of comments. On the issue of security, he even condemned what was happening in Plateau and said the president was not serious and he had not started. That was in 2011 September. And what was happening then, or what happened then, you cannot equate it to the pictures of the little children that you see in Plateau State who are macheted to death. It's not one single person drowned outside the shores of this country, and the whole world's attention is there. Now we have little children being killed every day, a lot of them slaughtered in Jos, and nobody says anything about it. So if we keep quiet, it's not because we do not have facts. It is because we want, because of the sensitive nature of this country, we want to enhance the unity, sustain the peace and stability of this nation. Right. That's why the PDP decides to keep quiet.
All right, just just last minutes on this issue of security, because of our time, we need to move into some of the other issues. Will your party negotiate with Boko Haram?
You see, the issue about negotiation or no negotiation, I think is grossly misunderstood. Every government in the world will tell you they will never talk to terrorists. But in reality, they do talk to terrorists. They might do so using, NGOs. They might do so using United Nations. They might do so using other people. But you see, the important thing is not about how you end the insurgency, but when you end the insurgency. So we don't rule out the possibility of speaking to Boko Haram. We do not.
All right. So swiftly, let's move into some other issues. Of course, you know that the president was in the United States and he was talking about anti-corruption. About $30 billion of Nigeria's commonwealth are said to be taken out of this country. Stolen monies, they call them. But then, how far have we gone in the efforts of bringing these monies back and, of course, fighting corruption in Nigeria? Don't forget that the president set up a committee, basically an advisory committee, to advise the presidency against on the issue of corruption. Let's move swiftly into this issue. Jide, we have some statistics here on the issue of corruption. What can you tell us just quickly on the issue of corruption?
Corruption is a global problem, but what we have is there's a recent study done by Professor Ricardo Hussman. He's a professor of economic development at the Harvard University. And he had done a study which was released in July 2015, and he had clearly stated it that fighting corruption will not end poverty. He had done research into the World Bank's Country Corruption Index, which has been published since 1996. And from his study, he clearly stated that countries like New Zealand, Zambia, Uruguay, that had improved in their corruption ratings were not significantly richer or wealthier. What he had advocated for was for us to focus more on effectiveness. He had also given instances of, yes, you might be able to stop the policeman from collecting bribes, but that does not necessarily make him better at preventing crime or even catching criminals. Yes, you might be able to get the teachers that come in late into school, and you might get them early to come into school early, but that does not make them better in assisting the students to get educated and passing their exams. Yes, you might be able to stop the public official from collecting under the table payments. But stopping the public official from collecting under the table payments does not make him better at managing government contracts. So what he had suggested was, yes, fighting corruption should be one way to go at it, but also increasing government effectiveness will yield better results. And these are the summary results from Professor Ricardo's research.
All right, great. Chief Olisametu, the APC said that your party has mismanaged, those are some of the words they've used, the country's treasury, and a lot of monies have been stolen. 3 weeks ago, the APC released a list of instances of alleged looting of the treasury, and just a week ago, they released another 3 instances linked to the last administration of how they've stolen the nation's dry.
I think it has to do with figures. They release figures and they announce to us that some people have stolen monies. In terms of specifics, in terms of going down to exactly what happened, we have not seen the ruling party or the government telling us the people that they are prosecuting and on what charges that they are taking them to court. It is good that the gentleman here is stating what he's stating, because for the PDP to say it, the APC or the government will come out and say that you are corrupt. We have witnessed in the last 3 months a certain campaign of propaganda, I can say it's propaganda or campaign of calumny, just to tag the entire party and the people and members of PDP as being corrupt. We will not be able to say much except that the government should go further to bring up cases and bring out these people that have engaged in corruption. It is not the wealth of the APC that is at stake. It is not the wealth of Mr. President. It is the collective wealth of the entire country, of us inclusive. So we in the PDP, we will want cases of corruption to be taken seriously. Let us recover the money from them. Let the people be prosecuted, let them be convicted, and let them be punished. If there is a maximum penalty that can be given to those people, we support it. But what we are against is selective application of the war against corruption.